Hi you guys, if you want to learn how to make my easy and delicious hand pies with homemade whipped cream, stay tuned. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is peel our apples. I will list the type of apple I used in the description below. Once we're done taking all of the peel off the apple, we're going to go ahead and cut the apple off of the core and chop these into really small bite-sized pieces. Now, if I was making a regular apple pie, I wouldn't dice my apples up this small, but because we're making really small hand pies, I wanted to make the apple small so they can cook along with the pastry. If I was making a large apple pie, I tend to cook my apples before and then bake it, but I didn't want to have to do that step with these small hand pies. So that's why I'm dicing them up really small so they wouldn't take a long time to cook. So once we're done dicing, we're going to go ahead and transfer that into a large bowl, and we're going to add in 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar. We also added in 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, along with some cinnamon and a little dash of nutmeg, a little dash of salt, and a splash of vanilla extract. And we're going to go ahead and mix all that together until it is well combined. Once that is done, we're going to go ahead and add in 2 ounces of cream cheese and mix that in as well. Make sure your cream cheese is softened so it can mix a little bit better than mine is doing right now. And after that is done, we're going to go ahead and taste our filling just to make sure it doesn't need anything. If it does, then you adjust to your liking. All right, then after that, we're going to add in a little bit of flour. Because apples tend to be really juicy, you want to add that flour so it can help thicken up that juice and it won't seep out of your pie once it starts baking. All right, so once that's well combined, we're going to move on to our pie crust, and I'm using Pillsbury. I was going to cut these up into little squares, but I changed my mind last minute and decided to use a cookie cutter instead and cut these into little circles. And from this one pie crust, I was able to get 10 circles out of it. So in total, with 2 pie crusts, you should be able to get 20 circles, which will make you 10 pies. At this particular point, you guys, I had 8 circles, but I was not about to throw this good pie crust away, so I just flattened it out and created 2 more circles. So now I'm just going to go ahead and lay these on a baking sheet that I've lined with parchment paper, and we're going to go ahead and fill them. Now we're going to go ahead and spoon a little of our apple mixture onto our pie crust. You don't want to go too far with overfilling them because they will start seeping out the sides, and you guys will see what I'm talking about in a second. So we're just going to go ahead and put them on top, and then we're going to use a fork to kind of press the sides down. And as you can see, guys, my filling was starting to spill out because I overfilled them. So don't make the same mistake as I did. So because some of the filling seeped out of my little apple pies while I was crimping the edges, I decided to put them on another piece of parchment paper just so that sugar doesn't burn while it's baking. Next, I'm going to take a sharp knife and prick little air vents at the tops of our pies. This makes it cute, but it also helps the air escape while our pies are baking so they won't explode while they're in the oven. We're going to take a little egg wash, which is just 1 egg with a little bit of water, and we're going to baste that on the tops of our pies just like so they can become a nice golden brown. I baked these in a 425-degree oven for approximately 20 minutes. You definitely want to keep an eye on them every 5 minutes or so, checking them to make sure that they're not browning too fast in the oven. And this is how they look once they come out. I'm just going to let them cool on a lined baking sheet. While they're cooling down a little, I'm just going to go ahead and make this super quick and super delicious whipped cream, you guys. Only 2 ingredients, heavy whipping cream and honey. That's it, and it is so good. And as you guys can see, my kids are in the kitchen waiting patiently. They were so ready for this yummy dessert. So once our whipped cream is whipped to perfection, it's so light and fluffy and airy, we're going to go ahead and plate our dessert. that is it, you guys. This dish was super easy to put together. You guys saw me do it. It was absolutely delicious. The apples were nice and tender and sweet. The pie crust was buttery and flaky, and that whipped cream was just so perfect, so airy and fluffy with the perfect amount of sweetness. It was just so good, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. If you enjoyed it, make sure you give me a thumbs up. I love you guys, and I thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all on the next one. Until then, bye.